welcome to Create with Canva. I'm going to be showing you a basic user-friendly beginning tutorial on how to get started with creating a project in Canva. So first I want to just talk about what the program is. It's a free online graphic design tool that combines photo editing, design, and layout options to help users create really beautiful finished products. So it's basically like a graphic design platform without being a graphic designer. It's super user friendly. You can create social media graphics, presentations, posters, documents, and other visual content. And the great thing is you have access to more than 50,000 templates to choose from. So as an MSU student, if you haven't already, I would create an account. I have my account up here, so I'm logged in, and using your MSU email, you have the ability to select the education package. And through there, I would just check off that you are a teacher. This is pretty crucial because you get access to everything Canva offers without any limitations, and it's harmless. So something to keep in mind when you're creating your projects is identifying how you want to visually express yourself. I always recommend creating an outline of all of the content that you want to put into your project. And then from there, you can really get into playing with the visual identity of your presentation or project or whatever you're working on. So that's what's really great about Canva is it sparks a lot of ideas to create something that's unique and personal, but also appeals to your audience. And it's also awesome because you can collaborate with other social media platforms like Google, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and you can collaborate with other colleagues, friends, teachers, anyone. So it's really great that way as well. I want to go over some of the different features that it has. So once we select our templates and we explore there a bit, we can go into adding content. There's many different ways we could add content through media, elements, and then sort of customizing from there with frames and layering, different color palettes to choose from, and how to go about doing that. So if we want to get started, I would select a template, and typically, for educational purposes, presentations are usually most popular. If it is a digital presentation, don't worry about the sizing. However, if you have intentions on printing this project, let's say it's for a conference or for a class, I want you to select the custom size option that's available up at the top here. So you want to select what the dimensions are. Make sure you select the correct dimensions through inches or centimeters. So if it's a 24 by 36, you want to make sure you're creating that up front so you do not have any issues later. And Canva is smart enough to identify the sizing and will pull templates for you that fit into that size dimension. So right here off the bat, I have some recommendations that are within this template size frame, and some of them are probably being pulled from my previous search history. So it's like a lot of education templates, things like that, but you can really explore whatever you want. So if you wanted something that was like the beach, you get things that are related to that. Something really important to note and what's super helpful is that if you think something and you want it, please search it. Chances are you're going to be pleasantly surprised at the options that it provides for you. If you've thought it before, someone else might have when creating this program, and they have a template for you to use. So if we just go back to home, I'm going to select presentations. I'm going to go into presentations. You can create a blank, or you can search some templates. There's already some that are popping up based on my search history from like a research paper. But if we want to go in, I'm going to select something that I recently used, or I could just type in research and see what comes up, just to give you an idea. I am going to browse and let's see. Let's use this science project. It's pretty fun looking. It's got a lot of elements in it, different colors. So you could apply one page or you can apply all of them. I'm going to apply all of them because let's say, already have my outline done. I know exactly what I'm putting in my presentation. Now I'm just going to edit it to make it more personalized to me and my audience. So once you're in your page, it's really user-friendly. You have the same functions of text. You can edit everything at the top toolbar. So anything that's placed into your presentation can be edited at the top toolbar. You could change the color. You can change the size. You can change the font. There are tons of options. Something I want to note about the document colors, the color palette that's provided for you through Canva are the default colors, which are down here. But anything that's in your template, it pulls colors from as your color palette. So we have a ton here, but let's say there's something we wanted to add that we don't really see in the presentation, but we can't really upload it. We can add brand colors to our color palette. So really cool. We could just customize here. And this is what's awesome because the education version gives you this. So done. Now I have this new color that wasn't already there, and I can change my font or element by the color I just added. Something that's great about elements, sometimes they have multiple colors in them, and you can change every single one if you wanted to. So let's say I'm adding a new color. I want to go with a little more of a fun green. I like the way this is all placed, but maybe the colors are just a little more subdued and I want them to be brighter. So I'm just going to start adding a little more brightness to my project. And just like that, if you want to select things here, you can just start to edit the colors that are in your presentation. If you don't like the font, you don't have to use it. You can change it to any of the multiple fonts here. There are so many to choose from. Just be mindful. It can be overwhelming because there's so many options, but it just makes things so much more fun and unique. And you just take your time playing around with everything and see what fits. So just like that, we could just go in and edit some of the text and elements through color, sizing, and font. Just like you would in PowerPoint, you can resize things, you can drag and move them around, you can delete, you can duplicate it. The same keyboard functions work, like Command C and Command V for copying and pasting. Anything you select within your template, you edit up here. Something I like to do is the lock button. So if you have a bunch of elements grouped together, you can hover over them and lock them in place. So if you're moving something else on the document, you won't accidentally drag something that you want to stay where it already is located. Just prevents a lot of issues when moving around elements. Another really cool function is transparency. This is great with like images or if you're placing an element under text. So let's say I have this little molecule blob and I want to place it here to create a cool effect under my title. You can drag it, reduce the transparency to create less contrast, and change the positioning. So you can move it back, forward. Something that's probably helpful, I just duplicated that, but it's deleted, is maybe you change this to bold. It really depends what fits for you. So I'm going to move into a different slide page and just show you some of the things that this template has specifically. But if you're interested in other templates, please feel free to drag any other template into your presentation. Of course, make it cohesive and on brand with the palette, but I would just select or add a blank page, or if you wanted to replace a page, you can select the current page in here and click a different project and place it in. This would replace the previous one, so just keep that in mind. Maybe if you didn't want to do that, just go right ahead and undo it up at the top toolbar. But let's say I just wanted to create and add a blank page, but add this. I like the way the text is done with the images. Really bright colors, sort of that I was trying to seek originally, but I didn't want to lose all the material from the first template. You have it now. So really cool. You could add as many different templates as you want. Let's say if I found something else that I was interested in, I really liked this one because it had these connecting elements that really spoke to maybe something that's part of the content that I want to present. This is really helpful. And let's say I want to change the color because I really liked that red I added earlier. And you can absolutely do that. And just like that, you click and you can change the color through the color palette box up here where you get access to all your colors and your brand kit to customize it. Really great. So going into uploads, you can upload files from your device. You can record yourself. This is really cool because if you wanted to just place a video really quickly into your presentation, you can record just a little blob of yourself explaining what is going on this slide. So if I go down, I already have some images. Some really great images you can pull from a website I always recommend is called Unsplash. So if you log on here and you type in whatever you want to look for, you can find some really cool images that are free and available to you, and you can just upload them right in. So I'll go back to my downloads. Here's my image. Wait till it uploads. There it is. Super, super cool. What's also really awesome is if you pull or upload an image into your slide that has colors that you want to use to make your template more cohesive, you can go back into the color box, and Canva actually pulls the colors from the photo into your brand palette. So now I can actually find this purple without creating it that matches exactly the purple that's in this image that I want to use. So it's really, really neat. Even if you didn't want the image anymore, but you wanted that color, you could just delete the image right out and you don't need to use it anymore. What's also great is on the left-hand side is really where you add all your content. So you can connect Google Maps, you can connect YouTube. If there is something that I want to add from YouTube, I could just click right here. And let's say I already know what I want to add as my video. There it is. And I just click it and it places right into my presentation. No problem at all. If you wanted to use a QR code to help someone maybe log into an external link that you're talking about, you can have the QR code function. Let's say I have this website that I want to paste in. I enter the URL, generate the code, and it is right there in a second. So really great. If you don't want it on this page, feel free to cut, copy, paste. So Command X, I'm going to maybe paste it on a different page. I'm going to go back to my home page. Maybe I want someone to access something right as soon as they see my title page, and I can just leave it right in there. And you can place it there. So really cool. So feel free to upload any content. You can also search content. So here, there are images you can use that the website provides you if that fits. You can go into other projects that you have. These are just it just keeps a history of some of the things that you've uploaded. It's also great because you may connect or upload things from different social platforms. So you can link YouTube, you can link Instagram, your Google Drive, any other social accounts. It's really robust and it's really awesome. So I'm just going to go back. Some text options that are really cool too, just to add, is really interesting titles. So of course, make it relevant to your project and your audience. But something like this, if you're talking about maybe video games, this is a really cool font to use. If you're talking about maybe a menu item, this looks like it's more appropriate on brand. So you sort of just play around and see what's available to you, and it'll spark so many ideas. It's great. So if I go back to my projects, I wanted to talk a little bit about layering and frames. So if you go back to images, just want to close out of that. Scroll up to elements. Elements are great because you can search anything you think of. If you think of a blob, you can type in blob and you can get a blob. So just like that, I can throw in an element, change the sizing, change the rotation of it, maybe create a little like funky feature, have it hang off the edge just to add a little effect. And now you have that detail. So anything you think of, please search it. You might be pleasantly surprised. And the website also gives you recommendations. So usually you'll have tons of options to choose from. Really cool stuff. A lot of elements allow you to change the colors, which is even cooler. So you can change every single color from its original format, just like this. If I don't want it there, and if I want to position it differently, maybe I want to do it forward, probably wouldn't because I want to keep the text there. But let's say I shift it around, I move it up there like this, and then click my methodology text, and I want to bring it forward. You actually maybe just need to click back on the element and move it backward. That's how you do it. So just like that. So these are frames. They're uploaded into these little boxes that have a little green hill and a blue sky with a cloud. These you can search. They might have it suggested here for you, or you can just search it in the search bar. So anything that you see with this hill and sky image, those are free to use for you to upload any image you want with whatever effect is relevant. So I'm just going to delete this out for now to show you how to do it from scratch. So this was already placed by your template that was pre-selected for you, but this is how you can customize it yourself. So if I'm talking about something, let's say for instance, I know that someone created a TikTok presentation before, you may want to incorporate a frame that has an iPhone. If you're talking about something from decades ago, you're not going to incorporate a frame that has an iPhone because that's not relevant. But to show you an example, you go back into your uploads after you paste the frame, and you can show what that would look like on someone's phone. So really neat. You just drag it and drop it right in. If you click it, double click it, you could delete it out and paste a new photo. Whatever is relevant to what you're talking about. So something else that's really cool in frames, I'll just show you a little further. Go back to elements. There's so many different styles that you could choose from. A film strip, multiple photos might be helpful to describe something in a sequence. You go back to uploads. These are all the images I've uploaded in the past, so that's just going to keep a record of it. But just like that, you drag and you just drop all your images. Now, be conscious of the size. These are all vertical images, so they probably wouldn't fit appropriately. So just to show you, that's how you get the better effects. Something like this, you just replace it. It's a wide angle image. It'll capture what you're trying to convey better. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, but that one looks pretty good. And just like that. So really neat. So something like this, you have your frame and you want to start layering. So layering is a really cool tactic. It's similar to like scrapbooking, using that move forward positioning function. So here we have text that was placed over a block and just layered differently over it. So if I take it apart, you kind of see how this was done. So if we want to go back, go from scratch, I can show you how this was completed. So let's go in. We have our frame. We want this little blobby image. It looks cute. We're going to just delete out all this because it's not relevant. We have an image we want to showcase on our slide. I want to show this one. And we have maybe some text we want to include. So here you can change the sizing, the font, and the color. So back to elements. Again, if you think it, search it. You can search shapes. So if I type in square, these look like frames, but let's go back. Lines and shapes. These are great. And these you can change the color of. So maybe I don't want a square like that. I want it maybe something like this. This seems cool. And I want to change the color of it. I'll make it this like light gray, or maybe this green. Or maybe I'll stick to this plum color. I place it over. If I don't want it over like that because it's blocking the image, I just take it. I take the frame, because that's what you can control, and position it forward. So now it's over just like that. I have my text. Maybe I want it to be smaller. I just moved it down just like that. And that's how you create a layering function. It's really cool. You just play around with it, whatever makes sense to you. You can spend hours creating a slide with all different unique effects and elements and text. There's so many graphics you can choose from. Just paste it in. It's really cool. They usually give recommendations. They'll show your recently used. So there's a track record of the things that you're using. So you won't lose anything. If you need a chart, you can place in charts. If you need a graph, feel free to search anything that you're interested in, anything that's relevant. You will be so surprised how much it'll just enhance your presentation. So let's say we're done here. We have our presentation's finished. We're happy with it. We added everything we wanted. We have all our content. We're good. And we want to present. So the presenting option, you could just present it as standard. You select right up at the top, present. Now you're in presentation mode, and you can select through your slides just like you normally would in any other PowerPoint presentation. What's really cool about Canva is you can present and record at the same time. So this is really helpful for asynchronous courses. When you aren't in person, you select the present and record option. You go to next, you head to your recording studio. You connect to your camera, you connect to your audio, and there is a little blob of you that'll be placed on your presentation that discusses everything that you worked on, while you also can provide notes. So no one will see this on the viewer's end. Canva specifically records just your presentation down here at the bottom, but you can have your notes and no one will know about it. What's also really great too is you can pause your presentation. So if you are talking about one slide, but you're not ready to move on to the next, you pause, collect your thoughts, resume, and then keep recording. So really awesome function. And when you're done, share it. So you can add people to collaborate. You can share it with your professor. You can create a link. You can get people to have access to it, and you may download it. So there are different downloading functions too, depending on what you do. Usually tells you what it is. If it's a presentation, PDF standard is the best for like visual, like emailing format. So if you're emailing it, uploading onto Canvas, just select PDF. It's not a problem. Save it to your device, title it as you want, and download it, and you have your project. So it's really great. It's a lot of fun. It makes doing this type of work more personal and just really fun. So some of the projects here, there's templates. You can get really inspired by all of the options available to you. So I have some projects here that anything you select, it sort of keeps. These are just like lingering presentations, but I mentioned the TikTok presentation earlier. So this is something that I did on Canva, and I just found a template I liked, changed the colors, but kept some styles like these little circles that have like this ombre effect with the branding of TikTok, added some elements of check marks, some frames with some shapes placed behind it, some text, again, another frame with an iMac, a frame with a phone, and you can actually upload a video into your frame.
Tell me you go to Montclair State without telling me you go to Montclair State.
So super cool. You can get really creative with everything. So you go back to your home page, you want to create something else, you just start again. You have a ton of options available for you. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you create something awesome.